The WNBA just got caught in one of the most embarrassing scandals in modern sports. A ratings meltdown so massive that even ESPN couldn't spin it into something positive. For months, the network tried to convince fans that everything was fine, that the league was growing, thriving, and marching forward without Caitlin Clark. But when the final numbers came in, the illusion shattered. Beneath the glossy headlines and selective statistics was a harsh truth. The WNBA without its brightest star was collapsing in real time. The 2025 finals told the entire story in cold, undeniable numbers. Despite every trick in the book, new Nielsen tracking systems, out-of-home viewing data, streaming metrics, the finals still tanked. The Las Vegas Aces and Phoenix Mercury matchup, supposedly a dream pairing featuring the league's most marketable stars, couldn't even hold on to its opening night audience. Game 1 managed 1.9 million viewers. By Game 2, over 700,000 people had vanished. The ratings slid to just 1.2 million. Game 3 barely recovered, and Game 4 limped to 1.4 million. In a league desperate for momentum, those numbers were catastrophic. But what made this collapse even more damning was how deliberate the cover-up seemed. ESPN began cherry-picking which games to promote. They'd loudly announce strong ratings for one night, but stay eerily silent about the next. They compared 2025's results to 2023 instead of 2024, conveniently skipping the year. Caitlin Clark broke viewership records and transformed women's basketball into must-see television. It was media manipulation dressed up as optimism, a PR stunt masquerading as progress. In 2024, when Clark led the Indiana Fever into the spotlight, something magical happened. The numbers rose every single game. People who had never watched a WNBA game before tuned in. From 1.1 million in the opener to over 2.2 million in the finale, it was organic, undeniable growth. That's what a generational talent does. She makes people care. But in 2025, without Clark on the floor for much of the season due to an ankle injury, that energy vanished. The same audiences ESPN had promised were new fans of the game disappeared almost overnight. The deception didn't stop there. Industry insiders revealed that ESPN quietly changed how they measured viewership. They added smart TV tracking, bar and restaurant data, even streaming boxes, anything that would make the numbers look inflated. It was the equivalent of switching from a flip phone camera to a 4K lens and bragging about how much clearer the picture looked. When independent analysts like Sports Media Watch called them out, it became clear the growth ESPN claimed wasn't growth at all. It was a manufactured mirage built on technical loopholes and selective reporting. What makes this scandal sting even more is how avoidable it all was. The WNBA had a chance to build an empire around Caitlin Clark, a generational talent who brought millions of new eyes to the league. But instead of embracing her, too many within the league treated her like a threat to their hierarchy. They pushed A'ja Wilson as the new face, flooded the media with features and documentaries, and tried to convince fans that the WNBA could thrive without Clark. But the audience knew better. The numbers proved it. People weren't watching because of the logo on the court. They were watching because of number 22 in Indiana. Even during her injury, Clark's shadow loomed over everything. Her teammate Aaliyah Boston carried the Fever, putting up career numbers, while Kelsey Mitchell delivered highlight performances worthy of any primetime slot. But the ratings refused to follow. Without Clark's magnetism, her rivalries, her viral moments, her ability to make even casual viewers emotionally invested, the league's momentum fell flat. The empty seats in arenas told the same story the TV numbers did. The WNBA's success wasn't collective. It was personal. Behind closed doors, panic spread. ESPN executives, who had bet heavily on the league's expansion, found themselves facing hard questions from advertisers. The returns weren't adding up. Those billion-dollar TV deals suddenly looked risky. Sponsors wanted out, and the PR department went into overdrive. That's when the narrative control began. Independent media no longer had access to raw ratings data. Everything funneled through ESPN's internal communications, where publicists massaged the truth until it resembled something marketable. What should have been a moment of reckoning became a desperate attempt to maintain illusion, and yet fans noticed. The sports media world noticed. Everyone could see the double standard. When the NFL loses 5% of its audience, the headlines scream about crisis. When NBA ratings dip, analysts dissect every detail. But when the WNBA loses over 1 million viewers, silence. The only sound came from press releases written in corporate jargon, full of percentage increases and new metrics, hiding the fact that the core audience had vanished. The fallout went beyond television. The All-Star Game without Clark saw a staggering drop in viewership. The WNBA draft, once an event that broke streaming records, barely made a ripple. International audiences, the ones who had stayed up through the night to watch Clark's games, disappeared too. The global momentum she had created evaporated within months. Merchandise sales cratered. Social engagement dropped by more than half. The WNBA's short-lived golden age ended almost as quickly as it began. Now the league is trapped in a dangerous cycle of denial. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert keeps insisting that parity and competition are the league's strengths, but fans don't tune in for parity. They tune in for personality, storylines, and emotion. Caitlin Clark brought all three. Without her, the WNBA isn't growing. It's surviving on nostalgia and excuses. The irony is that the audience never truly left the sport. They left the product. Every clip of Caitlin Clark practicing still racks up millions of views online. A simple photo from a fever workout gets more engagement than entire playoff broadcasts. The audience is waiting, just not for the WNBA's carefully crafted storylines. They're waiting for their reason to believe again, and when Clark returns fully healthy, the numbers will tell their own story. The million missing viewers will come rushing back, proving what ESPN and the league tried so hard to deny. That Caitlin Clark isn't just the future of women's basketball. She is women's basketball in the modern era. This isn't just a scandal about numbers. It's a story about arrogance, a reminder that no league, no network, and no marketing campaign can fake authenticity. The WNBA had lightning in a bottle, and instead of protecting it, they tried to convince the world it didn't exist. Now, as the ratings crumble and the sponsors waver, they're learning the hard way that you can't build an empire on denial. The question now isn't whether the WNBA can survive. It's whether it can be honest with itself long enough to rebuild. Because sooner or later, Caitlin Clark will return. And when she does, the truth ESPN tried to bury will explode into the open. That one player made millions care, and without her, the league couldn't hold them. So what do you think? Can the WNBA recover from this ratings collapse without fully embracing Caitlin Clark as its foundation? Or has ESPN's cover-up permanently damaged the league's credibility? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you believe the truth deserves to be heard, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because this story is far from over. The numbers don't lie, but the people trying to hide them always do.